Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion, Yevamos Daf Chavhei number 25. Again, I'm thrilled to have, let's pick it up here, my lectern over here. This is an official shiur sponsored by the Vada Rabbanim of Israel and America. I'm joking. Listen, if you're going to give Iyun Benzion a real lamdish shiur, you want to make it a professional qualified shiur. I'm going to give credence to the fact that it is a professional shiur by standing up in front of an audience, having my lectern over here, and still in 8 to 10 minutes giving you over a great Iyun shiur on the daf. Today's shiur starts from the Mishnah. The Mishnah on Chav Ham and Aleph says, listen, I have to get experience when people invite me to speak in front of audiences. I have to stand up, It's a little more frightening when you stand up, but it's okay. All right. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah says that regarding Eidas Isha, we're going to learn at the end of Masechtas Yevamos about a woman whose husband dies. She needs an aid, one aid, to come and say that her husband passed away in order to let her remarry. What about if the aid says, there's the following, Meis haragdi harganu lo yisas ishto. So if the aid comes and testifies your husband died, which is understandable. So the Mishnah is telling you a din that he can't marry, the aide can't marry the woman. We're suspicious that the reason he's testifying that he died, he really didn't die, the husband. He just wants to marry her, and that's why he's giving false aidus over here. But even if he says haragtiv, according to the Rabbanon, I killed him, or harganu, I killed him with somebody else, he can't marry her, the Gemara's Medayik, but she could remarry. It's acceptable aidus, the fact that she could remarry. And Rabbi Yehuda argues on that. Rabbi Yehuda says, if he says haragtiv lo sinasa isha, she can't even remarry if he says that I killed her or we killed her. The Gemara explains to you, and also it's just the only time he would believe if he says I was with the people that killed her, but I didn't actually kill her. According to Rabbi Yehuda, he wouldn't be nem. So I wanted to explain Shitas Rabbanan over there. Shitas Rabbanan, it's explained by Rava. Daf Chav Ham and Beis. I'm a Rava, 5 lines from the bottom, from the top. Why do we partially believe him? We believe him because the person is karov eitzel atzmo. There's 2 lines over here. He's karov to himself. He's related to himself. Ve'ein adam meisim atzmo rasha. A person doesn't make himself a rasha. We don't assume that a person is going to declare himself an evil person to say, I killed somebody, right? So we believe him according to Rabban. Believe him according to the fact that he's not a apostle aid. But we don't believe him to kill him, to Michayim Misa, or to apostle him as an aid. Because that's the dichotomy over here. You need him to be good at an aid. Rabbi Yehuda argues the fact, Rashi, the Gemara explained on Chav Ham and Aleph on the bottom, Rabbi Yehuda's shita is, Torah Amra, Al Tashes Yachim Rasha Liosei Chamas, that he passes himself a Rasha if he's a Rasha. Meaning we believe him that he killed somebody, so he's a Rasha. Someone who kills someone amazing is a Rasha, he's Chayv Misa. So therefore he's apostle aid also. The Torah says someone's a Rasha, that's apostle aid. So once it's apostle aid. So he can't even give his Isha. We don't even believe him to say that what he said was true, that the husband actually died, and therefore she can't remarry according to Rabbi Yehuda. Well, we do believe him that he actually died, but we don't believe him because we don't believe the apostle as an aid. Again, he wouldn't be Chayiv himself Misa. It wouldn't possible to say, hey, we do believe him to say that the husband actually died. How does this work according to the Rabbanan? So I want to show you 2 shitas. There's Rashi's shita, and then there's Tosafos' shita. I think they have a different explanation of this line in the Gemara. Rashi says, "Ve'ein adam meisim atzmo rasha." As duto edas etal atzmo liyasas rasha. You can't make himself a rasha. Had the kaimlan hadas piv k'mei edim dami. When it comes to mammon, the Gemara says Baba Metzia that when I admit that I owe someone money, if I admit that in court, so that is enough, even without Adam coming and saying I owe this person money, or a star that says I owe the person money, that is enough that Beis Din now can go freeze my bank account, or could forcibly pay, require me to garnish my wages. They could force me to pay the guy money. When it comes, it's only coming to money. Aval the knasa, the onish, malchus, or the pasalo. What's the difference? So I want to explain like this: that Rashi learned they don't karov eitzel atzmo. The word karov is a kind of funny word because we know there's a psul kurva ba'idus, right? A person the Torah says, learn him Rosh Hashanah, that a father and a son are krovim, or a father and a brother are krovim, and they can't testify together for Eidos HaChodesh. And the reason the Torah says, because even Moshe and Aaron said Moshe has to take somebody else with him, not Aaron, to Mekadesh the Chodesh, because they're brothers, and even though Moshe and Aaron are most trustworthy people, it's not because we're suspicious that they're joining together to think of a false edus. No, it's because they're Krovim. It's there's a Kosov. Torah says it's apostle. Torah says it's apostle. Krovim are apostle. So that's what Rashi's saying. Rashi's saying over here that that's important. It's midin karov. A person Eitzel Atzmo is karov Eitzel Atzmo. If you're karov to your brother, your relationship with your son or your brother, you have a blood relationship. Certainly by yourself, you're a karov. You're karov to yourself. So Rashi's saying a big chiddush over here. When do we say the psul of karov applies? Only when it comes to make a chalos, a status. When it makes you a apostolate, when it makes you chayiv misa, a chayiv aknas. When all it does is mechayiv mi mamon, to say I owe somebody money. That's not a status. That just means that we believe him that he owes a person money, and now based on that testimony, the truth of that testimony, can force him to pay, can garnish his wages, can freeze his bank account. They could do these things in order to force him to pay the money, but it's not, owing someone money is not a status. The status is chayav misa, apostle aid. You walk around as apostle aid. You don't call this person walking around as someone owing someone money. You owe them, the fact is you owe somebody money. It doesn't matter a halachic status. I just think a big chiddush, I think this is what Rashi's saying over here. The psul karov is only when it comes to chalos, when it comes to just ne'emanus, we believe him. And that's why you could split it over here. That he's not believed to mechayiv himself misa or to mechayiv himself, make himself apostle. That's why we believe his edus. And the fact that he said it, that the woman is done, so we sort of split it. The fact that he's not apostle because he can't apostle himself, we do believe him for edus isha. That's just a fact. She can remarry as long as we have the fact straight that her husband died. There's no status over here that now she's a woman with her husband dead. There's no such status. It's just the veracity of these facts, that veracity of what's going on. That it's true that her husband died. It's just want to establish the truth. That's all based on to establish truth. So regarding that, there's no psul karov. Torah only said psul karov when it by Eis HaChodesh. That's what the Torah is talking about. Eis HaChodesh, to sanctify that month, to make a Mechudesh Mekudesh, to say this month is Mekudesh. That's a chalos. To say this month is now Rosh Chodesh. That's you're specifying a day as Rosh Chodesh. That's a status. The Torah, that Krovim are not believed by. The Krovim are believed by Eidisha, veracity of account, the truth of the matter, just facts. They are believed. Tosfos, I believe, argues on this pshat of Rashi. Tosfos is a master Rav Amr Adam Karav Eitel Atzma Hiksha Rabbeinu Yitzchak Ben Avram the Perak Sheni the Ksuvos Masik Rav Gufe Gabe Hadistan Hasam Amedin Ksav Yodan Yosim Makom Acher Harei Lenaman and Lomar Anus Maginu. Lo Shanu Elisha Amru, the Gemara is talking about, the Mishnah is talking about in Ksubos, talking about people who want to apostle a star. You have a star. You have someone's money, let's say. Someone owes somebody else money. So you want to apostle the Edom. One way of apostling, of getting rid of the people, bring a star. Someone owes me money, right? You bring in front of, how many minutes am I into this? Well, 8 minutes, all right. Can't see the minutes so clearly from over here. You want to apostle the star. He owes someone money. So you want to apostle the star. Say the Edom are false Edom. So the Edom themselves come and they say, Anusim Iyun, we were forced to sign on the star. If you don't have the Chatima, you don't have the signature of Edom on a star, it apostles the star. They're trying to apostle the star. They say, Anusim Iyun, we were forced to sign the star. So if they say, depends whether they say Machmas Mamon or Machmas Tefash. If they say someone offered us money, right? They said, I'll give you some money if you sign a false star. So then they're Rishoyim. They're not supposed to do that. It's called Gzela. That's it's taking money to lie. I mean, that's. But if they say Machmas Nefashos, they say if someone threatened to die, they're going to kill us unless we do this. So then they would believe because they have a legitimate reason for doing that. So the Gemara, the Ksuba says, they're not believed. They're not believed because they made us all Russia. You're not supposed to take money to sign falsely on a star. But the Gemara says, "Amai ain't money." Why do you say like over here? The Havan leflugi dibura. Like over here, we're splitting the words, right? They're neman for the isha, not neman to make themselves apostolate. V'lomar danusma hayu v'lomachmas mamon elo machmas afashas lapagina dibura. We'll say they're forced to sign it, but instead of saying the continuation of what they're saying, that it's mamon, that someone forced them, that someone offered them money, we'll insert that, we'll cross off mamon. We'll say they were doing it because they're forced because someone wanted to kill them. In which case, to be valid signatures on the star. The Omer reads, "Lo palgina di bura they lifts all star raisa edemos on the star now signature nekar edus and based in." Let's stick with this first answer. So does give a second answer, but it's seemingly the chiluk that Toz is saying in that case in Ksuvos, in our case over here, is that here all we're believing is level derabanan. The Eidas Isha, midaraisa, a woman is believing without Aiden to say that her husband died because she doesn't want to get involved in mamzerus if her husband comes back. She needs the Rabbanan instituted to rely on one aid, and even an Isha can be kashalated. It's a weak aid, but you need an aid that's midarabanan. That's what Toz is saying. Midarabanan, we believe, and that's what they say. By to pasal shtar, we don't say pagin and dibura. But when it comes to derabanan over here, Eidas Isha, they would be believed. So I want to say over here that karo eitzal asma according to those doesn't mean midin karo. That could be that a brother vis-a-vis a brother is considered a relative. You to yourself are not considered a relative. You're yourself. You're not two people. You're not me and I. I mean, maybe you are me and I, but you're not halakhically considered two people. You're considered one person. So there's no psul of karo. There's no psul of relative, blood relative, which is a gzeres hakasuv by yourself. There's no psul of that. The whole din of karov eitz atzma, the Gemara uses the word karov eitz atzma, not meaning karov, just means a person has his own biases regarding himself. When it comes to himself, he can't factually decipher things the right way, which is also a svara by Krovim, right? But that's not really the real reason. It's because a person's karov eitz atzma, he biases himself. He can't see things. People can't see it objectively. You only see it according to yourself, subjectively, not objectively. So therefore, that gives a reusa, that gives a suspicion to his edus. Those are the same. By a doraisa, we can't believe the edus. By the rabbanon, we can believe the edus. That's all the Gemara is saying over here. By the rabbanon, we can believe the edus. You can believe it. By doraisa, those that's in ksuvos over there, we can't believe the edus. So therefore, he would know. According to Rashi, it's a big chiddush. He says that the whole psul of karov. There's no psul of karov by mammon, by factual things, only by statuses. And that's a big chiddush in karov. We'll have to check that out. Really, there's no such thing as karov when it comes to the mammonis. Those learning karov eitz atzma is biased when it comes to edus. We only believe by the rabbanon, but not by doraisa, both by a believability of a doraisa and for the status also. I hope you enjoyed today's shir. See you Motzei Shabbos.